today we're going to talk about multiplying mixed fractions. Multiplying mixed fractions. So we're going to look at two different methods. We're going to look at the area model and we're going to look at rectangle sections. Okay, we're going to look at area model, we're going to look at rectangle sections. And then we're going to practice this for a few days. Alright, so let's look at the first fraction of 2 1/4. 2 1/4 times 2 1/2. We already sort of practiced this the day that we had Fig Newtons. So what I know is that I have to break apart, decompose these two numbers. Okay, so I have to look at 2 and then I have to look at a fourth. I have to look at 2 and I have to look at a half. Then we kind of have to multiply everything together. So my first fraction, I'm going to represent what 2 1/4 looks like. So here I go. 1, 2. 2 holes. I'm going to color that in. 2 holes. Then I have to show what fourths look like. So I'm going to make another box, but I'm going to divide it into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. But I'm only talking about a fourth, so I only need to color in one of those. Okay? I'm going to label what that is. Okay? So I showed 2 1/4. Okay? So I showed this 2 1/4. Now I have to, in my area model, I always go across and then I go down. So I have to show 2 holes going this way. I already have 1 hole. So I have to add on another hole. 1, 2. 2 holes. Okay, so now I have to do a half. So I'm going to draw another box, but I'm going to split it in half, and I'm going to show that this is a half. Okay, this is supposed to be a half. Okay, so note that I did this. I drew this one laying sideways. So I had to draw this one laying sideways. So now I have to extend my lines. Extend my lines. I have to extend my lines. So I'm going to I drew all my vertical lines. So I do extend my lines. Now I have to draw vertical lines. Now I'm going to draw horizontal lines. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a horizontal line, so I extended them. So now I'm going to outline the shaded area. Okay, where's my shaded area? My shaded area only goes from here to here. My shaded area only goes from there to there. So I have to try to highlight all the rest, figure out what my pieces are worth. What are these? This is a whole. If this is a fourth, this is also a fourth. If this is a half, what is this? A half. So now I have to figure out what is this piece? Halves times fourths. What will go in there? So I have to multiply, do what I've been doing the last 2 days. What's a half times a fourth? It's an eighth. So now I have to add all my pieces. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 4 holes. 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4. I'm not going to worry about simplifying. What is 1/2 plus 1/2? 1/2 plus 1/2 gives me another whole plus 1/8. So let's summarize what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 wholes. 1/4 plus another fourth is 2/4. A half and a half. 2 halves together give me a whole. I have unlike denominators, so I have to make them be the same denominator. So I'm going to do times 8 times 8 times 4 times 4. What do I get? 16 30-seconds, 4 30-seconds. 16 plus 4 is 20 30-seconds. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 and 20 30-seconds. Can you think of any number that can go into both 20 and 32? Well, if I'm not sure, I'm going to make my list of 20. If today's date was 20 and I had to list all the factors, I know 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Can 20 go into 16? I'm sorry, can 20 go into 32? No. What about 10? No. What about 5? No. 4. 4 is the largest number that can go into both of those. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 32 divided by 4 is 8. So my answer for this one is 5 and 5/8. 5 and 5/8. I think actually I'm going to cross off this part of the notes, and we're just going to focus on area model today. So let's practice another one. What about 3 1/2 times 2 3/4? 3 1/2 times 2 3/4. So first I'm going to draw my 3. 1, 2, 3. These are holes. I'm going to shade them in. And then I have a half. This is equal to a half. Shade it in because I'm only talking about half. I don't care about the other one. 3 holes and then a half. 3 1/2. Now down the side, I need to draw. So I've done my 3, done my half. Now I'm going to do my 2 holes. So down the side, I'm doing my 2 holes. 1 was already there, so I have to add 1 on. 2 holes. Now remember, I have to lay it sideways, and I'm talking about fourths. So I'm going to draw my next box, and I'm going to split it into 1, 2, 3, 4. So this problem is 3/4. So I have to shade in how many of those boxes? 1, 2, 3. So my next step, now I have to follow these steps. Extend your lines. Draw your vertical lines. Draw your horizontal lines. You need to be going slow and careful so that you make sure that you draw them correctly. Now I have to outline the shaded area. So I'm not worried about, I have to make the part that's highlighted. Now I have to shade all of that in. Okay, so what do I have? These are all holes. If this is a half, what's this one? Also a half. This all together right here, this is a fourth, this is a fourth, this is a fourth. Fourth, fourth. So if these are all fourths, this one must be a fourth. So if these are fourths, these are halves, what is this? 4 times 2 is 8. This is cut up into 8 pieces. So this is an 8, an 8, and an 8. Okay, so now I have to add all my parts together. I have my drawing with all my parts. The holes is always the easiest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 holes. Okay, now let's go over here. I always go left to right, kind of go in the same order. Half and a half added together. Half plus half gives you a whole. 1 whole. Okay, let's come down here. How many fourths do I have? I'm going to try to group these together for a whole. How many fourths can I put together to make a whole? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another 1. And then I have 1 left over. So I have 2 wholes and 1 fourth. 2 wholes and 1 fourth. So I got all this. Now 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Now I have to add up all my parts. 6 plus 1 is 7. 2 more is 9. To make them have common denominators, what do I get? 1 times 8 is 8. 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 4 is 12. 8 times 4 is 32. So let's add these two together. 8 plus 12 is 20. Isn't that weird? That was the same thing that I got in the problem right above it. Same thing I had in the problem above it. So I already know how to simplify because I just did this up here. I know exactly that 4 is going to go into both of them. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 32 divided by 4 is 8. So my final answer is going to be 9 and 5/8. So I drew this out and I looked at each part and then I added each part together. Okay? So when we multiply fractions, we're doing the area model here. So we're going to tomorrow do the same exact process and we're going to practice.